Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Podcast the Motion Picture. It's going to be a rockin' night here on the podcast because all the others are not here, and so it's just me and Noah. You know what that means. Nothing. So, what are we going to start with here? Audience comments. So, I've got a couple of comments here. People have been popping off. People like having their voices heard when it comes to these different videos we've been putting out there. And I, for one, I'm very happy about it. Very happy about it. So somebody was dropping a comment on here. Our boy Cole, who tends to be on here, had a little clip that got posted about how Attack of the Clones is not very good. Cole had to say. We had a commenter drop, "Bad take. Get a real opinion, loser." Um, to which the whoever the heck runs the Minne Movies account responded, "What makes it a bad take? Question mark at bad take because there's no elaboration and everyone always says episode one is the worst, like it's some sort of trend. Go back and watch the movie and realize the brilliance. There's so much more going on than just Tatooine in that movie. We don't need more hate. We need more appreciation in the society." Which is
Mhm.
something that I thought was interesting because he started with bad take, get a real opinion, loser. Now I don't know about you. That sounds like negativity.
I agree. And I am a positive person, but I think the whole we can't hate on things because society sucks. That's not true either. If something's bad, we're allowed to call it as such. Like, come on, man.
I had
Mhm.
another different commenter on a different one in which Cole actually brings up Star Wars, who happened to drop the comment on the opposite side of things, saying it's funny to listen to you justify bad filmmaking to Cole
Mm.
Brainerd, who probably hates Attack of the Clones more than any single person in the state of Minnesota. So
Yeah,
we're getting some range of hatred lately, and
right, right. Well, I'm glad our audience has, multiple interpretations of what it is that we do.
yeah,
Art is meant to be discussed and interpreted, and what we do here is art. So,
that it is.
you know,
Especially here.
yeah.
This is art. Yeah, I'm happy that in recent times, a lot of people are filled with hate. I'm glad there's some diversity to the way they want to hate us. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good
Yeah.
to know. Yeah. Another comment on here actually was very middle of the road, who just had to say, I'm not naming names who this commenter is, just had to comment and say, I love hearing Cole talk about Star Wars. So
Mm.
got a little bit of everything. So anyway, that's been your weekly audience comments. Just had to drop it up. Now we've got a little movie follow-up. Yeah, a movie follow-up because Noah a long, long time ago talked about a little movie called Poor Things. Noah, you want to care to explain yourself? Buddy, fat
Yeah,
guy.
I would say about almost exactly a year ago. I would guess. I watched the first half of Poor Things. Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, Willem Dafoe, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, I think is how you say that. We're big fans of his from The Favorite, and what else did he do? The Lobster, I liked. One of his movies sounds too creepy for me to ever watch, but really, really good filmmaker. Someone that's worth checking out. I watched the first half, and even especially a year ago, I've grown now, but I was finding it really hard to just watch a movie in general. My mind was all over the place. So I watched the first half, liked it, never watched the second half. Apparently, I spoke about it on this here podcast. I don't even remember doing that.
That's who did. That's who did. Yes.
But a couple of weekends ago, maybe two, maybe three, I don't remember exactly. I had some time on my hands finally on the weekend and was doing some laundry and decided, yeah, I need to watch this movie because I remember I liked it. And sometimes when I don't know what to watch, I'll go to Letterboxd and I'll click on a certain decade or year and then I'll sort by popularity and then I'll exclude all the movies I've watched. So I feel like I will try to get the top movie that like people talk about or is important that I haven't seen yet. And so I went in 2023, I filed not watched, Poor Things came up. And it's about 2.5 hours long. It's artsy is a derivative word, maybe, but it is.
Artsy. Would you happen to say artsy fartsy when you say that?
I would
Is
give it artsy fartsy. It's
wow.
it's trying really hard. It's trying really hard.
Hmm.
Um, I absolutely loved it. It's visually one of the cooler looking movies I've ever seen. I don't exactly know how to describe it. there's backgrounds that look like matte paintings, and I don't know how much of it is and how much of it is CGI. I know it blends the two, but there are some really, really, really stunning shots that use like a lot of purples, a lot of blues. The first, like, I don't know, act of the movie is black and white until Bella, which is Emma Stone's character's name, kind of like develops her brain a little more. It's almost not worth talking about the plot of this movie. It's incredibly unique and it's super engaging, but I think it's the performances and the technicality of it that make it like really excellent.
You
So,
say technicality, like the way they do their storytelling through the technicality?
yeah.
Yeah.
There's, title cards, Tarantino style, between different acts. Like I said, the just cinematography is stunning, and I remember in The Favorite, there's like a dance sequence that feels anachronistic. Like, would they be dancing like that? This movie does that a lot too with dialogue, and I love that. I don't always love it. I loved it in this movie. Mark Ruffalo, Emma Stone, Willem Dafoe. I don't, if that doesn't sell you on a movie, I don't think you like movies very much, because those three people doing this is really a treat to watch. So, high recommend for Poor Things. Even if you're not an artsy fartsy movie type, I don't think this movie's for everyone per se. But I could see someone like that doesn't love artsy things checking this out and thinking it was a cool watch. So yeah.
Yeah, very good deal. I myself am sometimes middle of the road artsy fartsy. I like it when an artsy fartsy movie gets me farting, but not when it gets me arting, if you know what I'm saying. So
Mhm.
I might have to check this one out.
Yeah.
We shall see. You definitely have me intrigued in it. I think more intrigued than the last time you brought it up. Not that you didn't have me interested, but now I'm kind of down the river on this one. You've got me.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, as you mentioned, the big three there, Willem Dafoe, Mark Ruffalo, Emma Stone. Have any one of those three people ever done anything in their career where people were like, ah, stop?
I don't think so. I mean, Mark Ruffalo had his rom-com phase, but tell you what, 13 going on 30, just like Heaven, those are good movies.
People liked
So,
them. Yeah, I
yeah,
liked them.
I don't really think so. I think all those guys are just masters of their craft and fun to watch.
Would you consider Poor Things a artistic rom-com? Would you go so far as to say
You
that?
could. Yeah, you
Yeah.
could. Yeah, you could.
It's an Oscar-worthy
Yeah,
rom-com.
not how I thought about it maybe, but you could.
Yeah, it's uh yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, very good. Very good. I just might have to turn that one on at some point here. That'd be fun. Is this a movie? Do you think it would be fun for people? I don't think we really tend necessarily to frat energy of like, having a good time with the boys. Well, maybe a little bit, as we do. Is this a movie where if you were sitting down with your boys or your girls and you were like, let's throw this on and just have like a couple of drinks and laugh at it? Is this a movie where you could get away with like, while it's artistic, you could also like kind of like joke along through it? You know what I'm saying?
I do like that question. I'm gonna say no, but
Oh,
maybe.
mm.
I think your boys or your girls or your whoever's would need to at least kind of like movies.
Okay.
Because I have a lot of people in my life that just do not give a shit about movies, and I'm not gonna put on this film with them.
What is with
So
that? People who don't like movies don't get movies. I'm trying to. They're sometimes at work. I work at old folks' home. We got something on the TV just playing in the background. Sometimes my coworkers, RAs, who are like our age, mid-20s or so, maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower, they'll be like, "Who is that?" It's like, what? That's
yeah,
Hugh
really?
Jackman. Like, what do
Yeah.
you mean? Who is
Yeah.
that? Like, I don't
Yep.
know. And then sometimes it goes a little bit farther. Like, who is that? Like, what do you mean, who is that? That's Tony Todd, you idiot. Like,
Right.
kind of little deeper cuts.
I mean, I've been exposed to it for a long time because my sister is only a year and a half younger than me. Simply never liked movies. Whenever
Yeah.
we try to watch one as a family, she just like kind of refused to do it, and she's still like that. So it's out there. I don't get it myself, but
Yeah. It's hard for me. Like,
whatever.
what do people talk about when they're not talking about
Yeah,
movies? Like,
honestly,
oh, this weather.
yeah,
Hey.
yeah. It kind of
Yeah.
stops there.
Not for me. Yeah. All right. Moving on. Next up, we've got a recommendation from the bottom of the barrel. I'd like to recommend something here. I say bottom of the barrel. We do this week after week, recommendation from the bottom of the barrel. Maybe not every week, but lately we've been on hotspot. Bottom of the barrel, what does it mean? Does it mean a movie made by poor people with no money, indie films? No, because indie films are not the bottom of the barrel. A lack of money does not mean you're going to make a bad movie. Just like if you have a crap ton of money, an absolute first load of money, if you will, that doesn't mean you're going to have a good movie. Sometimes you can have all the money you could ever want. You could have a stacked cast. You could have a cast of nobodies. You could have the perfect people. You could have people come back to reprise roles. Of course, I'm talking about The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, bottom of the barrel. Now, how did it get there? How did we walk away from the Lord of the Rings trilogy and then make The Hobbit, and suddenly we're at the bottom of the barrel? Well, let me tell you something. I think what The Hobbit, Unexpected Journey is a little bit of a troublemaker. Not everybody liked it. And then it started hanging out with good old The Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug, and The Hobbit, The Battle of Five Armies, ran with a rough crowd, pulled it down a few spots, so people didn't like it so much. I think if Desolation and Five Armies were great, I think Unexpected Journey would have been lifted up a little bit, but no, nay, it got pulled down. I'm going to say something crazy here that I think a few people, a few book-learned folks of The Hobbit and Tolkien might care to agree with me on. I think The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, I go so far as to say it's just shy of a perfect Hobbit adaptation. It nailed it. All right. It goes in depth for what The Hobbit needs to be. It includes background information that I didn't like watching as a kid because it includes background information about the story that takes place in all the other books, which kind of ticks me off because, you don't want to have to read a ton of other books to understand one particular story. Anyway, that being said, it has the cast that it needs to. It fills up what 12 or sorry 13 dwarfs. Those 13 dwarfs up with their own personalities, their own looks, their own way of being, and not some over the top way where you're like, oh, obviously that dwarf has the power of frowning. Every dwarf has their own way in a subtle way. Richard Armitage, right? Is that Richard Armitage who
Sounds
plays
right.
Thorin? I do believe
He's
so.
in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, it is Richard Armitage who plays Thorin, brings Thorin to life in such a good manner. I don't think he does a great Thorin. Thorin's kind of supposed to be even older, I think, than Thorin. Sorry, Thorin in the book, I think, is supposed to be even older than Thorin in the movie. Thorin in the book is kind of this wise guy. So something I don't like is, and it's not really Richard's fault, but Richard Armitage kind of also makes him angry at the Hobbit a bit. Kind of doesn't like Bilbo, and that's kind of BS. Thorin would just kind of dismiss the Hobbit if he ever got upset with him. He wasn't ever like, you got us in this mess. Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, I'd highly recommend The Hobbit. And I know you probably have some questions about The Hobbit. Go ahead, ask. You're probably well, come at me, bro. Come at me. I'll defend my point here. Hit me with it.
Sure.
Cross-examine this.
Sure.
Do it.
I,
Bring it on.
I'm an adult man. I work a 9 to 5. It's rare that I have time to sit down for a 3 hour film. It's rare. Is there any reason, if I was in the mood to watch a Lord of the Rings film, any reason at all, why I should choose The Hobbit and Unexpected Journey over any of the Lord of the Rings trilogy?
This is a great question, dude. You nailed it, man. You nailed it. You knocked that right out of the park. So why would you pick this one over the original, three movies of the Lord of the Rings trilogy? Okay, obviously, easily I could say, well, it tells a different story that you're not really used to. But I'd say something that it does exceptionally well is even more than the Lord of the Rings does, and I'm betting we'd probably get heat on this if we had Lord of the Rings fans. This is the best adaptation out of any of the movies that were made. The six movies that were made, this is the one that does the book the best. The Lord of the Rings movies are such awesome movies. They are some of my favorite movies. To me, it's the best trilogy anyone's ever made. It's a complete one long story, just like the original books, but it's so far from what the books are. The pressure put on the characters in the Lord of the Rings, this character of Aragorn, who's not really wanting the throne in the movies, where it's suddenly he just wants to be this ranger, doesn't want to be the king. In the books, he may not necessarily love the thought of being the king, but he knows he has to be the king. Like it's not like what he wants; it's a duty, and that's something that's stripped away from him. Frodo in the books is this strong person, not somebody who's well learned or necessarily just inherently wise about everything, but he's not some whiny Elijah Wood, not to shit on movie Frodo, but like in the books, you really 100% are there with him, and as things go on, you just want him to give up almost so it can be over for him. Like you get to feel for him. We're in the movies, you're just like, God damn it, Frodo. Understand the spindly little creep with the hairline of a 127-year-old man is not your friend. The guy is eating raw fish out of the pond. Don't do it. Don't listen to your buddy of all this time. Whereas in the books, I gotta say, Lord of the Rings books, Sam is kind of not a great character. He is kind of a half-wit. And it's not a great character. Well, he does do good heroic things, but not a great character. Anyway, whereas in the movies, Sam is of course the hero. So back to the actual point here, The Hobbit. Why do you take the time? Because if you want to feel like you're actually getting into the Tolkien action, this is it. Something, mind you, it gets hurt because it's a little kiddish. There's some singing by the dwarves and whatnot. There's fun.
Mhm.
There's little bits of jokes and shenanigans. You got to understand something here. The Hobbit's written for children. All right. Mind
Mhm.
you, this is like 1920s children. So, 1920s children have the mentality of 30-year-old divorcees. So, be careful when I say that. Anyway, that being said, it is a softer story. It is a much lighter tale. And that being said, know that that's the intention of The Hobbit through and through. So, I think part of the reason, even more, I want to add to why Desolation of Smaug, the Battle of Five Armies, just become a crapshoot, is that one little touch of novelty they have of being a Tolkien work drops away because they try to make it some adult epic of bigger things, and it's
That's not
not.
what it is. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's really this genuine story of somebody who has no need to go off and do an adventure, having this thing he can't explain within himself where he says, I kind of want to go on this adventure. It feels right. Like I feel like I should do this. And he does. So it's a different journey. Whereas Bilbo has a want inside of himself to do this. In the Lord of the Rings, it's kind of a sad story of Frodo. He has to do it. Like he doesn't have a choice or say in the matter. It's got to be him. It's got to be me, Mark Ruffalo. So anyway, that's the point of the matter. That's
Nice.
why I would recommend it. And anyway, I think I know you only got a chance to ask one, but hot dog. Well, we got time for another. Throw another question. Do you have another
Sure.
question?
Sure,
Yeah.
I do. Um, I don't see the Hobbit trilogy talked about anywhere. And you are probably the biggest, I mean, I don't know why I said probably. You're the biggest Lord of the Rings fan. I know. Um, so maybe you're plugged into the Reddit circles or your D&D groups on Thursday evenings or costume, parties. I don't know. But I think an easy thing to compare The Hobbit to would be the prequel trilogy of Star Wars, very classic original trilogy, prequel trilogy to follow. But the prequels and the Hobbit trilogy are not similar at all because the prequels delineate so far from the original trilogy. And every time I open my Instagram, I get 50 memes about the prequel trilogy. In my mind, maybe I compare the Hobbit more to the sequel trilogy, trying to do what the old one's doing and just really nothing special about it. And that being, I haven't seen any Hobbit movie in literally 10 years. So it's not a fresh memory for me. But am I wrong for thinking it's kind of sequel trilogy adjacent?
That is great. As you were bringing up that, as you were saying, the Hobbits are kind of, are they like the prequels? As you're saying that, I was like, huh, no, not really. Like the
Right.
prequels have like, they've developed all these fans and whatnot. I don't see the Hobbit having that. Like, I don't think the Hobbit gets this revival where people love it. That's just not going to be there unless they remake it. Um, I think you're right. It is very sequelish in a way of just like it kind of it's a big example, I think, of taking an old story and trying to like make it newer. And
Hmm.
this is a little bit different of one because it is its own story, but they really do try to and capture the energy of Lord of the Rings, obviously. But they try to capture that and like they just push it into the ground so hard, whereas like they almost escaped on their own pathway from Unexpected Journey, but no, they really fall into this pitfall. So yeah, it is very sequelish, so that it lacks this original vibe as it goes on. Like it definitely drops what it could have been. So I think I don't know, in a sad way, yeah, there's not gonna be a prequel-esque Hobbit fan group.
Right. There's never going to be that life to it. Love or hate the prequels, they are still kind of talked about. So,
Yeah, like
yeah.
there people have tons of work has come off because of it. So like yeah, it's here to stay.
Yeah.
To the chagrin of Cole Brainerd and
Yeah.
this one guy in our podcast who hates. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, now we better move on. Dude, you're nailing these questions today. All right. So, next up, oh boy. Next up, oh boy. Here it comes. Eat a food. Everybody, stick around. Reed's gonna eat a food here. I'm gonna open this up. No, you're gonna like this. This is special. This is special because it's just you and I. I've been saving this. I've been waiting
All
to
right.
crack this bottle open.
Is that, yeah, that is what I thought.
Pringles hot ones.
This could be hot. I
This,
haven't tried these. I've seen these on the shelf. I haven't tried them.
well, let me crack open. Let me
Is there
snap
is
into
there
a
a
slim.
specific sauce on there?
It doesn't smell too bad, I gotta say. This is hot ones barbacoa. Los Calientes. Ha ha. Bring
All
it up.
right.
All right,
I
you
could
ready
see
for
it being hot, but I don't know how much
yeah.
flavor you really get on a single. Let's see what
I don't
happens.
know, this is like a dry rub chip. I think I'm gonna go flavorful side, to the tongue, so I really
Tongue
enjoy it.
down.
Yeah, here
Yeah.
we go. Here we go. Dude, if this goes awry, like you gotta finish this podcast on your own.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little pressure here. For our audio listeners, he's chewing on the chip.
No, it's not that
Not that bad, he
bad.
says.
Not that bad. I can feel it on my tongue already. This is intense actually. Not like an actual physical thing. It's intense to be this close to the hot ones. I've never been this close
Yeah,
to an actual hot ones flavor. And I guess I'm getting it right now. Dude, I'm beating you to the hot ones flavor, aren't I?
you are. I've never crossed these lips. While Reed's chewing, what did everyone think of the Met Gala?
Oh, yeah, that's fun. I I
I
don't know.
really don't know what it is. But I think most of the outfits mean nothing to me.
Not to get political. I wish we wouldn't do those events and we'd send money to try to help kids getting blown up in countries I'm not gonna name because people don't like it when you name certain countries where kids are getting blown up.
Yeah.
But that's just me not liking countries that blow up children. I don't know
Yeah,
if you have any.
I'm with you on that. I think that's a fair thing to think. And why support the Mets? They
Well,
just got Juan Soto. They're fine. So
yeah. Okay, so these are not that they're really not that spicy, I gotta say. The hot ones, Los Calientes Barbacoa. Um, it's lingering on my tongue for sure, but not like in a killer way, like just that heat sitting there.
does it taste good?
It does actually. I would actually buy these like casually if I had like if I were drinking one of my like shakes or something to help because it is sitting on my tongue,
Okay.
which I don't love when things sit on my tongue like that.
I love when things sit on my tongue.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Huh? Oh.
No, it's really not that bad. This is the rest of the episode's gonna suck though, because it is sitting on my tongue. I don't know if you've noticed this. When I do oh, that's sitting on that tongue there, isn't it? That's sitting on that tongue there, isn't
What if we came up with a different phrase?
it? Oof, I can feel that heat splurging out over the mast of my tongue. Yeah, that's all right. Not bad. I wish I had a glass of milk I could dip it in. When I eat Takis, I've noticed like the powder just sits on my tongue, gets encrusted.
Sometimes you're 20 talkies in before you really notice what's happening too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's not like it again, it's not like it's a heat that kills you. It's just like I want it off my tongue. Like I don't want
Yeah.
it sitting on there. It's just
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I'll say out of all the things we've eaten on here, this is my favorite. I highly recommend the Pringles hot ones. Is that appropriate for me to do?
I think it was great. Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
pronouncing words and the languages and the way they're meant to be. I think this is gonna
Donde
be
está la biblioteca?
Donde está la biblioteca? La teca. All right. Next up, what do we got? Noah, I have for you a top 10 list. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
In line with the recent release of Marvel's The Thunderbolts, top 10
Are you
best
sure that's what it's called?
The Thunderbolts
Yeah.
Asterix best Marvel stuff to watch post Endgame, I guess. Whatever is the new era after all that. I think there's a Spider-Man 2 with Jake Gyllenhaal that came out after Endgame that doesn't
Oh
really
yeah.
count.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not counting it. Because I think that's in the previous phase, actually, to be a big nerd. All right,
Right.
here you
I
go.
think you're right.
Number 10. So this is a top 10 list. There's more than 10 things that have come out. Number 10 for me is a number 10 because there's only 9 things I think that are worth watching. Number 10 is Thor: Love and Thunder. Awesome title, but shit movie. Terrible movie.
I had a conversation with my mom about that one because she happened to catch a good hour of it on TV, and she was like, "I remember none of this," and I'm like, "Yeah, I haven't seen it since theaters, and also remember none of it." So I
Yeah.
forget that movie even exists.
I may at some point, I guess I might have to seek it out and throw it on again just because like there's parts I like, but there's so much of it that are just this is not a whole movie. This is not a
Yeah,
complete thing. There's parts I like. Number 9 is going to be Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So like I said, I think there's only 9 worth watching. This is the bottom of all that for me, which, it's a good movie. It really is. There's too much goof to it, I think. Too much goof.
yeah, I remember liking it fine. Haven't seen it since theaters, so
Yeah. And number 8 is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special. Now, I said movies, I think this is stuff, Marvel stuff. Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
I
Fantastic.
love watched it 3 years in a row now.
I got to throw it on again. I forget that it's even out there. The whole of the story is just really fun and kind
Hmm.
of to get to like a big, huge peak of the story of where it's all a big gift for Chris Pratt.
Yeah,
Fantastic. What a good
yeah.
joke.
I think it's like a really underrated thing. It's very good. Glad you included it.
Good. All right. My number 7 is going to be Hawkeye with Jeremy Renner.
Hmm.
I if I didn't like, I have 2 more shows I think on here. 3 more shows actually. If I didn't like these 3 other shows as much as I did, this is such a fantastic show. If you were gonna just throw one on, like Carefree, this isn't gonna have an effect. Throw this one on. It is such a standalone. Like it might have other parts I don't remember that kind of come from other areas. Doesn't matter. Throw it on. You're gonna love it. It's a little Christmassy, I think, as well. Um,
Yeah, I think so too. I also think that's the last of the Marvel shows I watched, and at the time I called it my favorite, but I again don't remember them the best. So
Yeah. I don't have a great memory for the shows. I know what I liked about them, but I don't remember the shows. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't talk in detail. Did you see they're not going to do a Hawkeye season 2 like at all, I think?
yeah, I think Jeremy Renner had a quote about them like not paying him.
Yeah, they're going to pay
I'm
him
a big
half.
Jeremy Renner guy. I like him a lot.
I am too. Like he does seem like a nice guy, I guess.
Yep.
I don't know. Hopefully he is. All right. My number 6, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think I've maybe even on this podcast, actually. I think I may have talked about this a long time ago, way, way back ago, maybe in the first 10 episodes. This is a show in which I kind of turned babyface for old Anthony Mackie. I
Same.
used to
Yep.
hate that guy's guts because he would always kind of play jerks in movies. Like, I didn't hate Anthony Mackie. He was always playing characters, but he would always play characters that were jerks. So it was always like, God dang it, this guy never showed up. But this was the first one where it's like, this guy's cool. Like, his vibe is like, he's a pretty
Yes.
real dude.
I think he's the best part of that show for sure.
I think so too. I also like people made a joke about it. I saw a meme like a week ago and got my memory back. The end of that is he's kind of talking to these senators, and after this whole event's happened, this whole terrorist attack has happened, like, you stop the terrorists. And Anthony Mack comes over, he's like, hey, don't put labels like terrorists on these guys. And it's like, oh no, no, no. They blew a bunch of people up, I think. Like
Yeah,
they were
aren't
gonna
they
spread
called
a
like the Red
plague.
Hand or something like
Something
that?
like that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, ridiculous. These are children. Like, yeah, they killed people. Like,
yeah.
yeah, they're chill. But, anyway, I could make jokes about. Anyway, next up, number 5 is going to be good old WandaVision. Um,
Hmm.
a show that I think definitely, I don't know, raised the roof for Marvel posting game. Was this the first big thing they did in the
Yeah,
new phase?
yep. It was the
Yeah,
first show I know.
definitely for a show. Yeah. Um, No, they really exceeded expectations. If there, was anything that people could have honestly expected from a Marvel television show, it just the span of the storytelling of like decade by decade within television, and then slowly breaking free of that to realize like it's ludicrous the
Yeah,
story that they tell and the way they do it.
it is. It's a really cool idea. And I was into it at the time. I don't think I even liked the ending very much at the time. WandaVision feels like a case to me where everything that came after it kind of makes it worse, maybe, because I don't think they I know there's an Agatha show, maybe it's good, but I don't think they really have expanded on that story other than the Doctor Strange movie where they just make her evil.
That's a big problem I have.
We haven't seen Vision since this, right?
We have
And
not.
so I don't know. It's an interesting idea. I liked the sitcom through the decades thing, but it kind of went nowhere for me, I think.
I'll say I think as far as where Marvel's at is I think they filmed the Vision movie or show or something, whatever that Vision Quest I think they call it. Um, Too many shows. They're making too many of these gosh darn shows and whatnot. Anyway, all the same, for me, I get that. I did not like the ending either. Like it is such a not a great conclusion to an otherwise pretty good, well told setup, which stinks. But I do think it is worthy of still having good accreditation. Shows that come out after it don't have an effect on it, and they just don't meet up with it. Number four is a show I'd actually recommend you to watch on. And in fact, I have recommended this not so long ago on this podcast. It's the new Daredevil show.
Hmm.
I was sitting out here the other morning. I'd wake up in the morning, I'd put it on before work, and it'd be awesome. I woke up, oh, okay. I put it on, and I knocked my whole system there. And I was like, God dang it. I really wish I could watch more Daredevil, but it's over. I want more
Yeah.
of it. So maybe we'll get more. We'll see what comes to be. All right. Next up, my number three. We're in the top three here, people. Bear with me. Number three, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That it's good. It's good. I don't really know how much to talk about it. It's good. I
I
don't know.
think in my head, just when you said the title, that was number one in my mind. I am such a huge fan of that trilogy, and it feels separate from. It doesn't feel separate from the MCU, but the movie itself, the story, the script feel separate from what MCU projects have tended to feel like over the last 5 years. It feels like a serious movie. And there are some scenes in it that I think about way too much that
Hmm.
are affecting and sad. And yeah, good movie. I really dig it. That's one I would like to watch again soon.
I too, upon thinking about it, I don't think I've seen this in theaters. I don't think I really think about it that much. I was putting this list together and I was like, I don't give this enough credit, and so I do think I need to watch it. For me, there's some hang-ups. Definitely a big, selling point for me is that it is kind of its own big story, and it is a serious story. It kind of tells something with purpose. It's not just
Yeah,
another, this is where the heroes are, and the heroes are going through all these Marvel comics. It's like, this is the story of Rocket Raccoon and what happened to him and why everything's terrible for him. It's like, yeah, that's a cool story.
yeah, with you 100%.
This is about, loss of everything you care about and the ability to care about others and having to relearn it. Fantastic.
And that is actually a theme that kind of applies to the two movies we saw before it too. Like you're saying, it feels like something that should be
Yeah.
told.
And
James Gunn is a good writer. He is.
he really is. He is good at it. I don't think he gets enough credit just because, he
Yep.
works with such fun stuff.
Yep.
Dude, is it bad? I want to go back in for another of this.
No, go for it.
I gotta
Yeah.
wait though. I gotta wait though
Yeah.
because I start speeding up when I eat these chips, and then we're gonna go under time by a lot if I eat them. I'll talk too darn fast.
Yeah, let's drag
Yeah,
this out.
let's drag this way the heck out. No, I don't. What the heck was I saying? Something about something about something. Oh, the music choice in Guardians 3. I never loved
Mm.
it per se. I didn't like it so much. There's a couple things. Ever Since You've Been Gone is in it, correct? I think I
Since
think
you've
it's
been gone,
yeah.
since you've been gone.
Dude, we're
Yep.
gonna get copyrighted.
Oh
Uh
shit.
I have always dug that song loosely. It's such a like a C song for me in terms
It's
of all
like
the
a
songs.
good radio song,
Radio
right? Like,
fodder, I always call
yeah.
it. It's just something that you turn on the radio, and Since You've Been Gone's on, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Why
Yep.
wouldn't that be on? Of
Yep.
course. And then next up is what, Ricky, I Got Your Number or something like that. Anyway, dang, I hate that song. Anyway, as time has gone on, I will pull up my Spotify, I'll listen to the soundtrack from the movie, and like I try. It doesn't get there for me, but thinking about the story, letting it sit with me for a couple of years now, like I think I should watch it again and listen to the songs as they're on there because maybe they
Yeah.
do tell the story a little bit better than I give it credit for.
I believe you didn't you see one of these songs performed live? Do you realize by the Flaming Lips plays Do
Yeah,
You and while they're all in the different colored suits. I like that a lot.
yeah. I maybe I'll make I forget the guy's name. Maybe for the thumbnail of this episode. Maybe I'll drop that guy's face on it.
Yeah, why not?
I love that guy.
And
No,
since we're around music too, In the Meantime by Space Hog is on this soundtrack. That song's awesome. So
yeah,
high recommend.
no. So I guess I gotta hop back in, and anybody out there who's gonna be like upset with me about what Linkin Park's on there, um,
No,
not Linkin Park.
I don't think so. I feel like I would remember that.
Nah, okay. Who am I thinking of then? You gotta help me out. I gotta get this. It's
I
just
don't know. I know Creep, the acoustic version, opens it.
sure, yeah.
Um,
It's when they're in like an armory and they're going through it. They're beating up on a bunch of people. I'm gonna find it in here.
I'm curious what it would be. I'm having trouble thinking of any other song on the soundtrack besides the ones we've named.
I'm telling you, it's not like oh, God. I don't even want to say anything because I'll just be so gosh darn wrong. Um, it's Beastie Boys, not Linkin Park. It's Beastie Boys. No Sleep Till Brooklyn. That's
No
why.
Sleep Till. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I'm thinking.
Right.
I was gonna say Beastie Boys after all of that. That's what I was talking about. Was I don't even want to say because I don't want to be wrong and drop Beastie Boys and then like, what are you talking about? Anyway, forget it. Moving on. Next up, number two, Spider-Man: No Way Home with
Mhm.
Poor Things as Willem Dafoe.
Yes.
I was trying so hard to not list that on here because all these other movies I think are and shows are an actual good takes of like, I put in a little work to put them where they should be. Like I think it's justified where they're at. This one is such an easy like, yeah, this is one of the best things they have to offer. Like it just is. And
Yeah.
so I didn't like having to put it on here, but like I said, there just was not enough to get me to a top 10 list. Like there just wasn't. So it's on. Yeah, I don't know. Classic Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, classic Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and brand new whoever the heck Tom Holland Spider-Man for all the different age Spider-Man fans. You get J. Jonah Jameson's in there too. Like everyone's here, okay? Yeah, Alfred Molina's is back, baby. He's back. And yeah, no, stellar. Good work.
Yeah. I saw this twice in theaters. Haven't seen it since. Running theme here. Love it. How, as a fan, if you liked Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man growing up, I don't see how you could not have a good time with this movie. I will say, and shout out to the guy that thinks we're too negative or whatever. I don't like how this movie ends, where the world has forgotten Peter. Like you already killed spoilers. You already killed Aunt May, and that was like really dark and like actually sad. And then to just beat me down even further, we haven't seen any resolution to this since. So in this Spider-Man timeline that I have also a big attachment to, I saw Homecoming. I mean, 10, 15 times the first couple years it came out, and I like the Gyllenhaal one too. So it bums me out that where it ends is yeah, he does not have MJ, he does not have Ned, he's like forgotten to everyone. And I don't like that. I would like you to fix that, please, Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I don't mean to put any of the weight of that on Tom Holland because he just did such a fantastic job, and I know he actually is pretty open about it. He struggles with the stardom, and and so he kind of has formed some addiction problems for everything. He came out at one point a while ago, was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna be done with Spider-Man. Like, I don't think I'm coming back. It's like, what do you mean you're not coming? You can't end on that. Like,
Yeah,
that's
that's a tough way to
terrible.
end. And I have hope that it's not, but how long's it been already?
It's
Is
been a
that
while. I think he has
yeah.
already come back to say that he'll do it
Yeah.
again. Yeah. Like I'm 99% sure he's already said like I'll do another one and I'm sure he will sure he'll keep doing more and more. Like I'm sure they'll meet him wherever the heck he wants to be met at. He's Tom Holland and he's Spider-Man. He's
Well,
like
I have a joke.
a joke
Just
away.
like Justin Tucker in a Baltimore massage parlor, give us a happy ending.
Dude. Oh. Oh god dang it, man. That's killer right there.
Thanks.
Yeah, I
I
think
would not throw Justin Tucker in this week's thumbnail.
I don't plan on it. Yeah, that's something, man. You go your whole career being a kicking legend just to
And yeah,
end up a
kicked it out the
creep.
window.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a real
Yeah.
creep. Yeah, you kicked a three-pointer if a three-pointer was being a pervert, you creep. All right. Now, moving on. Last spot here, my number
Number
one.
one, I do not know what this is.
You're as soon as I say it, you're gonna be like,
Dude,
oh, the
you're not saying Loki, are you?
Dude, Loki season 1. No, I'm shitting you out. No, no, I'm shitting you out.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
No.
What is it?
Number 1 is Deadpool and Wolverine, of
Oh, sure.
course.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Which is tough because it kind of leans on the Loki stuff, actually, which is funny.
A little bit.
Yeah. No, it is. I think it's the thing that got a pulse back into Marvel for me.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
way. Like they just worked themselves into a grave. Every movie, every show they put out for the last like 3, 4 years to me was just like everything was another shovel working on a grave. And then suddenly Deadpool Wolverine comes out and it's like, all right, like they're actually gonna try to do something here. Like for real. I guess
Agreed.
my one exception, I guess, would be like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was kind of one where I was like, but then, nothing else
Yeah.
really kept me up.
Did you see? I think Channing Tatum's like in the new Avengers, uh, uh, the new shit,
What,
the next
Doomsday?
Avengers, the Doomsday one. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Doomsday movies. So that's cool because Gambit in this movie is a highlight for me. Love him.
I don't really know Blade. I've never seen the original movies. I don't know the comic. I don't know the character, and then he's a vampire killer or something like that. And I
You'd
re
like those movies.
I bet I would, and I bet I would have liked Mahershala Ali. I bet I really, really am gonna dislike seeing Wesley Snipes in them at all, just knowing the drama that he put everyone through and being such a jerk of a diva. That being said, dude was great in Deadpool and Wolverine,
Yeah,
and if they want to throw him in, be like, hey, here's your chance at the title, like give it to him,
yeah.
give it to him. He's not getting any younger. Give it to the man. He's little. He's a small guy, isn't he?
I don't know. What
He's
was what was his thing? Like he's just mean to the cast, and doesn't he have like a tax evasion thing or something too?
I wouldn't know the legalities of Wesley Snipes' private life.
Yeah, I
I
think he
will
does.
I will say he was not very good to cast and crew, I think, just in terms of being like outright like demanding of things and whatnot. There's the whole story in which they needed him to open his eyes on a shoot, like he's lying in bed, needs to open his eyes, and he's like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. And the director's like,
Yeah,
you need to do this. He's like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. So then they had to CGI his
that's
eyes.
that's right. I do remember that
Incredible.
shot.
Yeah. A weird thing. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know what his side of the story is.
Yep.
I just, if, I signed a contract to do a job and it was something as little as open your eyes, I wouldn't
Probably
really
just
have a
do it.
problem. Yeah, but
Yeah.
maybe he felt self-conscious about his eyeballs that day. Okay. Well, next up, I got a little summer movie update, summer 2025 movie update. Let's see here. Yeah, only real big updates here is tonight we're doing a table read after this. Noah and I hopping over. We got another meeting with the fellas and a few of the other cast members and crew members. So it's going to be a party. It's coming together. Summer 2025, filmed in your backyard, northern Minnesota, released. Hopefully, fingers crossed that it all comes together in a Minnesota venue. We shall see, though. Ha! Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Praise the North. Okay. Next up. That's a nice short one there. Next up. I'm actually going to eat one of these chips. We're coming down to the wire and we're getting there. So here goes another one. Bon appetit. Down the hatch. All right. Went down the wrong pipe immediately. All right. Nope.
Yep.
Get your car. Drive down to Rochester. I'm not doing well here. That one went down the wrong pipe.
All right. See you in 4.
No,
We
man.
pushed the table read to 12:17.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there and I'll
Okay.
be doing a voice for my character.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next
Miles
up.
Teller like screaming into his phone on Whiplash.
You're done, Neiman.
Yeah.
Oh, I dropped the line of that on someone the other day. Didn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay. The question here. Best movie snack, Nora. What do you think? What's the best movie snack for you? What do you like to eat when you go to a movie?
I'm a big icy guy. Um, and I wasn't always, but this formed over like COVID season where I would like go into old movies because nothing was playing. I'd always just get myself an icy, and I've stuck with that. But I realize I'm not answering the question here. If I had a choice, blue is my preferred icy flavor.
These are the big
Um,
questions.
the best movie snack of all time is to me regular M&Ms poured into hot popcorn where it
Yeah.
gets melty and chocolatey.
That is
I
you.
I had to cut myself off from doing that because it was becoming an issue. I haven't done it in years, and I fear that if I do use that for the next like month and a half, I will be pouring M&Ms into popcorn and just eating that. So it's so good I can't do it anymore.
Wow, that is a heck of an endorsement, dude. It's so good you had to quit. Yeah, I gotta think here. I saw something in a movie that actually got me going, and it's something similar. I know in Whiplash they do it as well. I don't know what the candy is, but I had something
Raisinets. The candy is
raisinets.
raisinets.
I
Yeah.
thought so, but I didn't want to say it again because I was wrong once this episode, and I'm not going to do it again. So I'll just be quiet when I have any things where I'm not 100% on. Anyway, I saw something similar to that. Don't know. I think I might have even tried it myself, but I just. Oh, you know what? It's an advertisement at Marcus Theaters. Greg Marcus. I think it's like two of those ads ago where he does that. He pours the M&Ms
Yeah.
into the popcorn. Yeah, dude, you're just a Marcus at heart. You might be like Noah Marcus Aurelius, maybe. We'll see.
There's not a lot of people who like if I saw them in the street, I would like want to shake their hands and maybe even give them a thank you. Greg Marcus, thanks for what you do, my guy. Those,
Yeah.
yeah,
Keeping like the theater vibe, like to go up on the screen time after time and just do a fun little clip where everybody gets to be like, "Hey, here's the owner and he's having fun." Like, let's just have fun.
they're actually funny too. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm talking it up too much, but they're always funny.
Listeners out there, wherever the heck you are, check out Marcus Theaters. They're all over the United States, I think. But just try to find a YouTube video of a Greg Marcus doing an ad.
Yeah,
Find it. He plays them. He's great. He's a comic at heart.
I think he has a TikTok we could drop the link to
Oh,
somewhere. Yeah,
we should see if we can get him on the podcast. Like I don't know. We don't know. He's cool.
never
Okay.
know. No,
You never do know.
yeah.
Next up here, I want to say, well, sorry, before next up, I got to provide my own snack. Obviously, popcorn's easy go-to, plain and simple. Licorice as well. For me, though, Reese's Pieces candy. Reese's
Mhm.
Pieces is the movie candy for me. It's a vibe. On a
That
slightly cold night, open up a window, put on screen. You got a box of Reese's Pieces. It's gone in 30 seconds, and I'm off to the races. I'm
Yep,
gonna be in love with the movie.
that's a
Yeah.
great call. An incredibly underrated candy, and my father's favorite candy. So
He's a
we'll get Nate Lane on the pod next week. Talk
him
about
and
Reese's
him
Pieces.
and Greg Marcus on here together.
Yeah.
Two old buddies. I want to provide, I know they're not here, three people here, Zach, Brainerd, and Cole. I'd like to provide what I think is theirs. Cole's is Raisinets, Jack's is Earl Grey tea, and then Engen is just a bottle of water.
Yeah.
That's what those
That
guys.
sounds right.
Yeah. And they are things they sneak into the movie. And so it's just like, picture Brainerd bringing in a cup of tea to a movie.
Hmm.
All right. Last spot here, Noah. Why should I watch Love is on the Spectrum? What's going on? Give me the deets.
Love on the Spectrum is the best show I've ever seen. Um, Season 3 dropped, I think, probably a month ago now. I had never watched this show. I had heard of it. I knew it was kind of a big deal. It's on Netflix, so I have to watch it on my phone because my phone is the only thing in my apartment that can get Netflix anymore. It's 3 seasons long now, like I said, about 7, 8 episodes apiece, and it follows, 6 to 8 stories of people who are on the autism spectrum trying to find love. For the majority of them, we're seeing their first dates, first experience. Couple, that's not true. Um, but the representation of autism is not good in media. It's, you know, pretty underdone. I think of like Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory, who they literally never define as autistic. Um, and for the past 2 years, I've been working with, little kids with autism, and it's, I'm certainly not an expert on the subject, but it's changed my entire life and the way I just view people. And so this show allows me to see like maybe what these kids I work with could like grow up to be someday. And it's really cool for me as someone that has like a really strong connection with this now to watch this show. And I didn't know this. To me, it was another Netflix reality show. I think The Circle is one of them.
Hmm.
It's just something that never even entered my mind to try to watch. But one of my friends here in Duluth was like, no, you would love this. You have to watch it. There is not an ounce of cynicism in this whole show. It is so sweet. you get to hear the stories of the people that have, lived or taken care of these people with autism for their whole lives, and just the pride they have that their son or daughter is like going on their first date. Like there's some real tear-jerking stuff in this show, and it's also absolutely hilarious. You will like fall in love with every single person they focus on. Every single one of them have like very kind hearts. They're funny, and you just want them to succeed. You want them to find their person. And when it happens for some of them. Some of them it doesn't. It's like Jon Snow, what is it? What's that battle called where it's like him and all the
Battle of
people?
the Bastards?
It's like that level of intensity
Dude,
when
I
like
don't know if I want to watch
what
this show now. You had me, but I don't want to
in
watch.
a good way. It is that level of intensity. Like when one of them like kisses for the first time,
Uh,
it's so like, yeah, like get out of your bed, get out of your chair, like fist pumping action. It's so awesome, and it's really a quick watch. So I couldn't recommend it enough. And
I'm in.
it it's a cause that is very near and dear to me now. So I want my friends and family to watch it because it's something I like a lot. Love on the Spectrum. It's
Dude,
very cute.
it's on the list. You've got
Yeah.
me. I'll probably end up. That'll probably be a go-to show for Maddie and I to just throw on. That way we got something to talk to you about, other than
Yeah.
Twins baseball.
Yeah.
Um, that way we have a happy thing to talk about.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, I gotta say, I myself, I've never, well, I guess I have had a job in which I've worked directly with people with autism, and it's been fine and whatnot. But my job had other tasks as well, not so direct as the one that you have. Why don't we just do a job or a podcast episode where it's just us
We
doing
should.
talk about social work? That'd be
Yeah.
fun,
Yeah.
dude. It'd be awesome if we did one where we just talk about jobs that we do. Like,
Yeah. I agree.
I've, yeah, I've wanted
Probably
to
be
do
our
one.
longest one.
I wanted to do one where it's just us, like whoever the heck can be on, hopefully the five of us guys who are normally on, to just talk about who we are a little bit more. Because just
Yeah.
to just say like these are like this is where we come from, so we can kind of point like guys go to this episode. Maybe we'll do that episode 50. We'll see. That would have to be next week though. Anyway, enough
I
about me.
that could be a good idea though. I like that.
Yeah. Okay. So I work with stuff myself as well. I work with a lot of I've seen a lot of abnormal psychology. My degree itself is in psychology. I've always had a big fascination for it ever since high school. I love the topic of psychology. I love the science of it. I love the reading about it. I love seeing it at play. I love the science of it for what's like an actually attainable understanding, as well as theories that go as far back into evolutionary days. I love it. So that there's a show dedicated to a group of individuals who like have a psychological, you know, affliction, I guess, if you will, to the point in which like they can't hide from it, such as, some cases of autism you can't
Hmm.
really get away from. Like it's a part of you and you can't deny it. Whereas some people have autism and it's fine. Like
Absolutely.
it's not gonna come up
Yep.
again. It'll affect them, but nobody gonna take
Yeah.
look at it twice. It's
It's
just
very different in every person. Yep.
yeah. So that there's a show that's dedicated to that, phenomenal, great. I don't know. I guess I have to watch it and I have to understand these people a little bit more. I'm sure they're a lot higher functioning than I probably am imagining a show dedicated. In my mind,
I
I gotta say, if I were a producer, I would be a sick bastard and I would go searching for like very harshly affected people, people who are like on the spectrum to a point where they're like, it's teetering on like they probably shouldn't be on camera. Like that's the messed up
Yeah.
part of my brain.
Yep. And you're right, but I do think these people are a weird way to phrase it, but like more autistic than you might think sometimes. Like I know I want my mom to watch this because I don't think she like knows people like this a lot of the time. And yeah, it does a really good job of providing a wide variety of, you know, people with the disability. And in my job, I've worked with kids that will grow up and live independently, and I, work with kids that will never even kind of live independently. So
Yeah,
it's such a wide spectrum, and
it
you get
is.
you get some
Uh,
showcases for a lot of different things. So
it's magical. I guess I got a couple more things I can share here because this is a good topic. I like this. I'm upset we saved this for the end. Like I'll have to make a couple clips out of this so we can kind of get seen a little bit more. A couple things, yeah, as well. I got a nephew who himself has autism, and Like he's just such a delight of a young boy, but like,
Hmm.
obviously there's things that are going to be in effect and that there's a show dedicated so that other people that are just don't see this ever get to see it. Fantastic. And I'm thankful for that opportunity as well. Another thing I'd like to share, I guess, a little bit about myself here. Hi, my name is Reed. You're probably wondering, Reed, why are you named that? Well, I'm glad you asked. I actually, if I recall my mother's telling me this correctly, I was named after a student of hers she had in the fourth grade, who I believe was some form of special ed coming through there, and she just always thought he was such a good person. And even through all of, whatever needs he may have had as a special ed student, he apparently just had I don't know, a tenacity to do good things even still. So I've always, I'm very happy about, this being a show. It's good. It's a good deal. So yeah,
Excuse
and
me. I
so
didn't know that. That's a very sweet story, and I can attest to that. Like in all the kids I've come across, and even in this show, you'll see people with autism find it hard to lie a lot of the times or to be dishonest. And I don't think a lot of the time they see much point in like excessive personal gain. They just want what's fair. They have their set of most of the time reasonable rules, and if you fuck with it, that's where things go awry. But I agree. A lot of kind hearted people I've met in this field, and especially with the little kids, there it's just so fun to be around so much of the time. So
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm checking it out for sure. I think two things here, audience. Whoever's hopping in to hear this still, because we're right at the end of this. I don't know how many people are still stuck, tuned in, glued to their speaker phones, if you will. We are doing an episode on social work. We're doing an episode probably next week where we talk about ourselves here. So stick it around as you will. But yeah, that's all the time we really have for this episode. So thank you all for giving it a listen. What a blast! What a heartwarming episode this has been.
It went quick. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm surprised at the
I don't
time.
want to name names, but here we are feeling all warm inside. We had a good, quick episode that lasted the full time, and we're three guys short, so they might be the stressors in our life.
Yeah, I
Might
didn't
be
want to
the.
say. I didn't want to say it.
I
Yeah,
will say it. I will
yeah,
say it here. They may be the problem.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. Thank you all for listening. We got a summer movie coming out. Give a listen to these things. Tell your friends about us because things are coming down the wire. We've been growing. People have been listening. They've been liking. We got a website in the works as well. So check that out. I've got nothing to disclose it. So when I say check it out, I just mean keep it in mind. Yeah, it's coming. Don't you worry, baby. It's coming. Yeah, remember, tell your friends about this or else you may end up on a reality television show of your own. Da, da, da. All right, see you next time. Bye bye.
That was a whole episode of the whole of the podcast. It's over now. The podcast is done.